New incentives for international students in Australia in 2021 under the scheme of 485 Temporary Graduate Visa. Now, hi guys, this is just a quick update on the developments in Subclass 485 that has just been released today by the Department of Home Affairs. Now, my name is Teresa Cardona. I'm a lawyer and a registered migration agent from Ausback Visa. Now, the announcement. If you will study in the regional areas of Australia from year 2021 and in the future, Australia will grant you another Subclass 485 that will allow you to stay for 1 or 2 more years in Australia depending on the category you belong. Now, the Department of Home Affairs has just announced today that international students will be eligible for second temporary graduate visa if there are requirements to get the second Subclass 485. Number 1, you are a holder of a temporary graduate visa, the post-student work stream. And then number 2, you graduated from a regional education institution. And number 3, that you live in the regional Australia while holding the first temporary graduate visa. Now, what is the catch? Now, the catch is you will have to stay in the regional area for the duration of the new visa. Well, that is not too bad considering that you will eventually apply for either Subclass 491 or Subclass 190, the state-sponsored regional visa, in a few years. Now, consider this incentive as a great preparation for you to hone your skills and to build up your points in order for you to apply for PR skill visa application. Now, in the new system, the incentive will allow the eligible international students to further their stay in Australia for another year or 2, depending on the categories, as I've said, they belong. Now, the regional areas now are classified into 3 categories. Now, category number 1 is composed of the major cities of Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. Now, living or studying in any of these cities will not receive any regional incentives, which means that there is no second temporary graduate visa that will be available to those who studied in any of the schools in these 3 major cities. Now, category number 2 is composed of cities and major regional centers of Perth, Adelaide, the Gold Coast, the Sunshine Coast, Canberra, Newcastle, Lake Macquarie, Wollongong, Geelong, and Hobart. Now, this means that international graduates who studied and live in those areas will be eligible for an additional 1 year on a second Subclass 485 temporary graduate visa. Now, category number 3 is composed of regional centers and other regional areas. Now, international graduates who studied and live in these areas will be eligible for an additional 2 years on a second temporary graduate visa. Now, you will see that Australia is serious at promoting regional area to boost the diversity and prosperity in the regional Australia while helping to ease the growing infrastructure pressures in the major cities. Now, what is good about this new incentive? Now, this new incentive is good because international graduates who studied at the regional campus of a metropolitan universities will also be eligible. Now, second, you can use the second temporary graduate visa extension to complete the work experience that may be required in order for you to apply for Subclass 482 or Subclass 494. Now, that is great because your longer stay time means longer working experience. Now, with additional time or chance to work in your nominated occupation, you would be able to claim at least 5 points for the 1-year Australian work experience category in Skill Select. Now, if you are lucky to find a job in your nominated occupation at the start of your first temporary graduate visa and then continue working while holding a second temporary graduate visa, you would be able to claim 10 points for the 3-year work experience in Australia. So it is really good. Now, of course, we need some tips. Now, if you are thinking of studying in Australia for the purpose of obtaining a PR in the end, you will have to consider to study in the regional areas, specifically in the category number 2. The regions centers like Perth, Adelaide, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Canberra, Newcastle, Lake Macquarie, Wollongong, Geelong, and Hobart. Now, these areas are better choice than metropolitan universities because it will give you an additional 1 year on top of the 2 years standard graduate visa stay in Australia. Now, if that is better, then the best choice, of course, is to study in category number 3, the regional centers and other regional areas, as it will give you 2 more years of stay in the regional areas on a second temporary graduate visa. However, please note that the eligibility criteria for student visa and temporary graduate visa remain the same. It hasn't been changed. Now, so if you are applying for a student visa, GTE requirement will still be an important issue that you will need to address. Now, if applying for a graduate visa, the first graduate visa, the standard Australian study requirement and the limitation period will still have to apply. Okay, so that's all, and that's basically the gist of the announcement today in regards to these new incentives under Subclass 485. Okay, thank you, and I'll see you again. Bye.